boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. The ongoing controversy at the Paris Games. Imane Khalif is now guaranteed at least a bronze medal at the Paris 2024 Olympics as the Algerian comfortably beats Luka Hamori of Hungary to progress to the women's welterweight semifinals. And this result comes on the heels of news breaking that the IOC was already warned about male boxers by the World Boxing Organization's vice president, at least according to him. A Hungarian sports official has come out and stated that the Algerian boxer Imane Khalif is not female. Ivan Kovacs, the European vice president of the WBO and former secretary general of the IBA, told the Hungarian press that he had warned the IOC committee about males participating in women's boxing as early as 2022, but that nothing was done. In a shocking statement made to Magyar Nemzet yesterday, Kovacs confirmed the speculation surrounding the Algerian boxer, adding that it had been known as early as 2022 that Khalif was a biological male. The problem was not with the level of Khalif's testosterone, because that can be adjusted nowadays, but with the result of the gender test, which clearly revealed the Algerian boxer is biologically male. Kovacs said in an interview with Magyar Nemzet, adding that a total of 5 boxers had been examined, including Khalif, by the International Boxing Association, and all of them were indeed men. Kovacs asserted that he personally reported the shocking result immediately to the IOC, but as unbelievable as it is, they have not responded till this day.
What this is turning into is a bona fide case of he said, she said.
The retired world champion boxer also commented that he recently spoke with former women's world champion Maria Kovacs, who bitterly remarked that in modern women's boxing there is a 20% chance that one of the athletes will suffer a testicular injury.
Bit of sarcasm from Maria.
But this is no laughing matter. If Ivan Kovacs alerted the IOC that these fighters were XY fighters and not XX fighters, and the IOC did nothing, is that not a violation of their own rules of play?
Was it ignored the way he says it was ignored?
Kovacs added that he was actively discouraging Hungary's Anna Luka Hamori from going ahead with her Olympic match against Khalif, which has already taken place. While Kovacs said that he didn't believe Khalif was a particularly good boxer, he expressed concerns that Hamori had not been properly trained to fight a male opponent. The biggest problem is that Hamori can only realize her big dream of winning a medal at the Summer Games at the first Olympics of her life if she beats a man. She was simply not trained for this, Kovacs said.
I myself sincerely doubt that this is what Luka signed up for when she started her amateur career and started building and working towards these Olympics. I don't think this is what she thought.
Despite the risks, Hamori had been taking it in stride and even pushing back against Khalif at the apparent risk of IOC sanctions. On August 2nd, Hamori posted a photo to her Instagram story showing an AI-generated image of a female boxer facing off against the large, horned male devil.
Regardless of what side of the aisle you might be on, it's clear that Hamori had some aversion to this. She wasn't all right with it.
The Algerian Olympic Committee submitted a complaint against Hamori to the IOC over her social media post, and she was reportedly forced to delete it and may have to apologize to Khalif.
So they silenced her,
forcing her to comply by holding her participation in these games to ransom. She's not even allowed to say what she's thinking.
She wasn't, and it's too late now. She already lost.
Speaking of redux, Marshy Smith, the co-founder of the Independent Council on Women's Sports, condemned the IOC after reviewing the shocking revelations made by Kovacs, the cover-up and championing of male athletes in women's Olympic sports is the greatest sports scandal of our lifetime, Smith said. The Independent Council on Women's Sport is a non-partisan network, an advocacy group comprised of current and former collegiate and professional women athletes. Earlier this year, Icons launched a lawsuit against the NCAA with 12 female athletes challenging their policies allowing transgender athletes to compete against females and use female locker rooms in college sports.
Now, it's important that we stop here and make a distinction That lawsuit
and those girls challenging the NCAA's policies may or may not speak to the situation unfolding in Paris. We don't know if this is a DSD issue or some other kind of issue, and that's the problem. We don't know, and what people don't know is making them upset. The IOC must reinstate sex verification testing today to begin to prove their commitment to the rights of female athletes. They are imposters promoting gender parity while deliberately deceiving the public and athletes about the true sex of competitors in the world's most elite and dangerous competition.
a hardline stance.
In addition to demanding the reinstatement of sex testing at the Olympics, Smith, a former NCAA and PAC 10 champion swimmer, is also calling for a thorough investigation to be launched into the impact of the IOC's policies. A full and thorough investigation is urgently required, and heads must roll within the IOC to account for this unthinkable injustice against women, Smith says.
So now what you have to ask yourself is it the way that Ivan Kovacs says it is? Were they warned ahead of time as far back as 2022, and did the IOC deliberately look the other way?
Because if they did, their own ideology may go against the established rules of play. Guidelines that are intended to exclude XY athletes from competing against XX athletes.
And if it was ever established that the two athletes at the center of this controversy were confirmed to have XY chromosomes, that was supposed to eliminate them from this category
It did.
and competing within it.
did.
The IBA already said they acted upon that.
Umar Kremlev said the IBA executives had met towards the championship's grand finale in New Delhi to discuss fairness among athletes and professionalism after concerns were raised about the biological sex of some participants. Speaking to TOSS News, he added that after a series of DNA tests, the IBA uncovered athletes who were trying to fool their colleagues and pretend to be women.
This was in March of last year.
Among the known boxers disqualified from the championship was Taiwan's Lin Yu-ting, who's competing in these Olympics, and Algeria's Emain Khalif. Neither are believed to be transgender and are instead suspected to be impacted by differences in sexual development.
DSD.
But understand that that is a belief, and it is not confirmed. What is confirmed, at least according to Umar, is that both these boxers have XY chromosomes, which is supposed to exclude them from this category. Following the initial report, many claimed that Lin and Khalif's disqualifications had been the result of abnormalities in their testosterone levels, but that they were biologically female. However, a subsequent statement by the IBA revealed that testosterone levels had not been the reason for their disqualification. According to the IBA's technical competition rules, woman, female, girl is defined as individual with chromosome XX. The IBA states that boxers will be subjected to tests to confirm whether they meet this definition, which serves as the gender eligibility criteria for female boxing.
What, so do the IOC define women's boxing and women's boxers some other way?
That seems to be the crux of it.
That's it.
How the IBA used to define the category, on what premise, and whatever discernment the IOC is currently using that differs from the IBA's.
But does that difference in regulation align with what the actual athletes want?
As well as the spectators, and what is this spectator sport? That's what that is. If this could all be quelled with a simple chromosomal test to disprove what it is Umar Kremlev has been saying, then why not do it?
Why wouldn't you?
Unless you can't disprove what he's saying, because it's true. And what the IOC is doing is redefining the category.
Which is why they're being deliberately vague?
Just doing more to stoke the controversy and the flame at these games instead of just putting it out.
To end the controversy.
Rayo. You worked so hard, Mario. Every day in camp. Everything you did in camp, you showed today. You boxed beautifully. You landed beautiful uppercuts. Tell me about how you won tonight.
Just stuck to the game plan. Used my jab. Stayed focused. Didn't listen to the crowd, and came out on top.
What was your reaction as soon as they called you world champion?
Oh man, my reaction. I had no words. I was speechless. I was extremely happy. I am extremely happy and just feel blessed.
Okay, do you want Tank next? Ryan Garcia called you out. Then Brian said that he wants to see you and Shakur. Break down those two fights.
I like all three of those guys. Whoever the fans want to watch me fight, that's what I'm here for.
What do you make of Pitbull winning that rematch?
If that's what the fans want, let's do it.
Talk to me. What did you tell people after the fight? What did he tell you?
I told him he's a great fighter and I told him it was an honor to be in there with him. Pitbull es un gran peleador y la verdad que fue un honor enfrentarme a él y si quieren la revancha, yo estoy muy dispuesto para eso.
¿Sentiste la pegada en algún momento? ¿Sentiste su golpeo?
Sí, tiene buena pegada, nada fuera de serie, pero sí es fuerte.
Right, no one believed in you coming in. No one gave you a shot. Everybody said, oh, Pitbull was the monster. How many rounds does he go? You told me every day for 4 months, you said, I'm going to upset, I'm going to shock the world. How does it feel now that you did it?
Feels good, man. I feel blessed. Speechless. I'm ready to go home and rest.
Tell me, where do you rate his power? Because he can crack.
It was decent. It was nothing I've never felt. When he hit me, I got deja vu, which I thought was kind of funny. I was like, whoa, I've been here. But he's a solid fighter.
Talk to me about that conversation with you and your parents after you were a world champion and you guys talked on the phone or in person. What was that like? What would you guys say to each other?
Just told them my parents were really happy, and they can't wait to see me back in the hotel.
What do you think about Robert's corner work? What did he tell you between rounds?
Great work, great work.
Did he cuss you out? Did he slap you?
Thank you. It was great, we were...
Hey, that's Jeremy Piven, world famous, Rayo.
Congratulations, man. Great work.
Hey, if you ever have a movie and you need a boxer, he's bilingual, he speaks English.
It's crushing. That's awesome. Even Teddy Atlas was singing your praises. Yeah. Congratulations. That's awesome. Thank you.
I went with Rayo Valenzuela to win a points decision against Isaac Cruz. And in that way, the prediction stuck. It definitely stuck. But watching the fight, I wasn't actually sure how the judges would have it. We've grown jaded as boxing fans over time, noticing certain patterns within the boxing sphere. I didn't know if the judges would appreciate Rayo's boxing because Isaac's the champion and Isaac is the one pressing the issue, coming forward, throwing punches and bunches, even if a lot of those punches aren't actually getting in.
Rayo's fighting out of that shell, bouncing those punches off the shoulder or catching them on the arms as he protects his midsection, spinning off the ropes and creating space, putting punches together to catch Isaac coming in.
Fighting his fight, Rayo was trying to keep it a boxing match, and Isaac was trying to make it a fight. And I just wasn't sure in real time while I was watching it if Rayo's boxing would be appreciated, and if that would be reflected on the judges' scorecards. To my surprise, they gave it to him.
Just like that, another one of Gervonta Davis's opponents bites the dust.
Which one of Gervonta Davis's victories is aging well at this point? Which one? Hector Luis Garcia? He got beat up by Lamont Roach.
Rolly Romero? He got knocked out by Isaac. And Isaac yesterday, he got outboxed by Rayo Valenzuela.
This was a fight where you could use that age-old cliche. It's all about what you like. Do you like Isaac's aggression? Do you like that? Do you want to score in favor of that? Or do you want to score in favor of Rayo's boxing? I want to say that Rayo landed the cleaner, clearer punches. Emphasis on cleaner and clearer. The quality over quantity argument.
The caveat is that Rayo's punches didn't have the same steam on them that Isaac's did. That Rayo's punches, they didn't have the same bad intentions.
It's not till the middle and towards the end that you see Isaac start to slow down. And that's when Rayo's punches look to have more of an effect on the then champion, the defending champion. This was supposed to be Isaac's first defense as WBA super lightweight champion. And just like that, he's not champion anymore.
Rayo is
staying on the balls of his feet, using the ring, moving around, spinning off the ropes as to not make himself a stationary target. Rayo was boxing where Isaac was fighting.
It's the story of the fight.
Isaac, who falls under the category of pressure fighting, he's a pressure fighter, but he's a lower grade of pressure fighter. That lower tier that's tantamount to brawling. That's what Isaac does. He just charges at you, winging big hooks and looping shots. He got in with a few.
It's not like he didn't land anything.
Got in a few times with some good punches, though it's deceiving, deceptive. When a fighter is as busy within a round as Isaac, it might give you the impression that he's getting off more than he actually is, because more often than not, he's the one throwing, but that doesn't always equate to him being the one landing. Now, if this same fight played out the same way on a PBC show and not a Riyadh season show. This exact same fight with these two guys. I'm 100% sure they would have gave it to Isaac.
100%.
You would have saw a political decision on the premise that Isaac is a little bit more popular than Rayo Valenzuela, that he is the reigning champion, and that he is a tad bit more marketable. And on that premise, if this fight happened on a PBC show, they would have gave it to Isaac.
Which falls under that category. What do you like? The come-forward aggression and volume of Isaac, or the boxing and movement of Rayo Valenzuela?
And these judges, they liked Rayo's boxing. They liked his movement. They liked how he managed the distance against the aggressive fighter, even if he was the champion.
What's next?
For Rayo? Well, he did say he's open to running it back with Isaac Cruz. He'll give him a shot, and maybe the PBC can put that together within their own borders. They can do that themselves, since they are both PBC fighters, though I doubt they have the money.
To make it worth Rayo's while. No, the only fight worth any money they can probably get Rayo is a Gervonta Davis fight, and I don't rule that out.
I felt, and still feel, that Gervonta Davis and his team were keeping a close eye on this fight to see who wins, because they're going to target the winner. They'll probably fight Rayo, since things didn't work out with Vasyl Lomachenko. They don't seem to be doing anything with Shakur Stevenson. I wouldn't put it past them that they would fight Rayo. Another Gervonta Davis win is aging like so many avocados on so many breakfast bars. How Hector Luis Garcia, he ended up getting beat up by Lamont Roach. Rolly Romero got knocked out by Isaac. Isaac just got outboxed by Rayo.
I would have said Ryan Garcia's a victory that's aging well, but it really isn't. You blew the weight, you got caught with Osterin in your system, and you're currently under suspension.
He's not going to be able to make 140 anymore. He's going to have to move up to 147, and at 147, I don't think he can beat anybody good, so I don't even consider that a victory. That's aging well for Gervonta. That what time is revealing is these fighters that Gervonta has been fighting, none of them are really good.
Not really.
Does he fight Rayo next? If he faces Rayo, Rayo's plan of action for Gervonta would have to be similar to the one he just employed for Isaac, but better.
We know that Gervonta Davis is not quite as come forward or as busy with his punches as Isaac Cruz.
He doesn't throw as many. If Rayo hangs back, uses his height and his length and his jab, moves around, just like he did yesterday with Isaac, he's going to draw Gervonta Davis out. He'll force him to, because Gervonta's shorter and stumpier. He's got to get in close to land.
That's where Rayo can counter him, if they do make that fight.
And they might. Congratulations to Rayo Valenzuela. I felt he could get the job done. That's what he did yesterday.